In 2018, Trump signed a law to increase the penalty from 1 year to 5 years, forcing it to be a felony, for unauthorized removal and retention of classified documents or material. Trump absconded in 2020 with over 15 boxes of documents. More than that, some of them have been destroyed by now. He's also made various claims about why he doesn't have to turn them over. It's been handled with kid gloves, and he's probably done a lot of evidence destruction. He's also guilty overtly of destroying things against the law while being president by shredding things. Also, it should be pointed out that one of the things about Trump that's important is something called transgressive behavior. One of the most extreme things a person can do is go ahead and prove they're the boss by making rules and immediately violating them as a demonstration of power. And this is something that Trump is notorious for. In 2022, the FBI searched Trump's Mar-a-Lago home for classified documents, specifically mentioning nuclear weapons documentation. Trump had several years to simply give the data back. The group of people responsible for keeping track of all this shit that you find that build up during the a president's existence in office had to go through a bunch of things he shredded and tore up and tape it back together again because that's legally required. Trump went to a great deal of effort to destroy information, maybe not even for a good reason. Trump is notorious for doing things that are petty, doing things that have no benefit, that are easy for him to do that will cause a lot of trouble for others. Like a child throwing a tantrum and breaking a window. Trump being searched and content being removed from his home after someone decided to do the right thing and snitch him out is what happened. He wanted that law created to be an anti-Hillary thing, and it's being applied to him directly. And unless they refuse to prosecute, he's guilty of a felony. High crimes and misdemeanors are a reason not to let a person run for office in some cases. Although I'm very sure a very large cult won't allow that. Trump then decided to lie and say President Obama did the same thing. What about Barack Obama? He took documents. Many of those were classified. He took 33 million pages of them to Chicago. No matter what happens, Donald Trump has to lie, even a little bit. What actually happened? The National Archives and Records Administration, or NARA, has storage facilities in multiple locations. Presidential files that are classified are held in Washington, for the most part, if not exclusively. The rest are held in a Chicago location, NARA facility, for unclassified content. Obama's era content at the unclassified storage only for Chicago is 30 million pages of documentation. So Donald Trump literally looked up a fact, lied about it in two ways. They say 30 million, he says 33. He has to embellish it somehow. He has to say it was classified when the stuff in Chicago would be unclassified. And Obama didn't take any of this. The National Archives and Records Administration seizes this material after you leave office. Barack Obama cannot do anything with it and has no power over it. Now, one of the claims that I'm seeing bandied about is Trump has claimed that he declassified things. The President of the United States has limited power for classifying or declassifying things. Him deciding that him removing it, declassified it, is not bona fide. Next, Donald Trump has had like 2 years now. It was 2020, right? A year or more. He lost an election, won't admit it. He's had years, I'm going to call it years, it's actually a little over a year, to turn over this information and materials. He put effort into taking the shit. He can put effort into putting it back, or just say, I need you to come in and pick up these files. I've already gone through them and made sure I got everything out that just belongs to me, that I don't want you to have. But the rest of this belongs to you. Which would, of course, cause another lawsuit or something like that. Is Donald Trump actually guilty of a law violation? a law he signed that he was trying to have only apply to others, not himself? Yes. Did he maybe go out of his way to break a law specifically, especially one that he caused to exist, specifically to prove that he could get away with it? Yes. I have no doubt of that. There is no reason to do this. Why would he have that much shit hauled out? Stuff that doesn't even concern him. Did he go out of his way to break a law and a tradition by destroying documents while in office? Now, there are some limited examples of things where you are allowed to burn or destroy things, but only if they have to have a destruction order attached to them. Certain meetings, the notes that are taken that a person makes on table, have to be processed by somebody and the originals destroyed, because it can only be what is allowed into the record by that person being filtered by somebody who actually doesn't really work for the president or the person who's being filtered. The idea is they remove any spurious discussion so that it doesn't become a stumbling block later for a treaty or something. That is the only example I know of, and it's done by mutual consent of everyone. Not Donald Trump taking random things and destroying them. Now, Trump is notorious for going out of his way to prove he is the boss by making a set of rules or finding out what the rules are and immediately violating them. I call this transgressive behavior. You look for a line that shouldn't be crossed and cross it, and then dare someone to point it out. Because somebody noticing this gives you power. This is not directly quoting his Art of the Deal, but it is getting to the root of it. Donald Trump's style for taking power in a situation has to do with this kind of bullshit. If you believe Donald Trump does not have the mentality to do this kind of crap, you aren't paying attention to what Donald Trump is. Because he really was president at the time he signed that law, if he is in possession of any one example, period, full stop, any classified information that he took without authorization from the U.S. government, he is not the government. He cannot authorize himself. That's not acceptable. Doesn't matter whether it's nuclear secrets or where somebody was in hiding under witness protection program, or just any damn thing, any form of classified content, any one of those things, the U.S. government has the option to charge him with a felony and throw him in prison for 5 years, period, full stop. They don't have to be nice about it. And I want them to stop being nice about it. Well, there'll be riots, and he can at that point be claimed to be a person who communicates from within the prison to have an effect on the population that is detrimental, and or he's guilty of an attempted coup d'etat. Bar him from communicating. About 6 months after that, the riots will stop, and people will decide that, well, we'll make him a mythology. Meanwhile, every reasonable person will say, he really did violate a law he wrote, and again, my opinion, he did that on purpose to be a power move. He's guilty. He has not denied that he did these things, and he's not denied that it's illegal to do them. He hasn't even addressed that. He's taken the Fifth Amendment when he complained about other people doing it. And if it involved nuclear weapons documents that were classified, that carries a lot more than a 5-year prison sentence. And they can choose to make them sequential per document. I don't want him treated gently. I want him bitch slapped into sitting there and being recorded as saying, I did this, it was illegal, and I did it knowingly because I wanted to push buttons, and I'm begging for mercy. I don't want to go to prison for 5 to 10 years or whatever it is. He needs to be humbled because he's the polar opposite of that. He is not deserving of any quarter. Did Barack Obama steal 33 million pages of data? Because Donald Trump exclusively said Chicago and that number, we know that those are the unclassified presidential files that Obama didn't take from the government, that they were sent there. Donald Trump overtly took documents illegally and took them to his house. Obama did not. Trump is guilty, Obama is not. Deciding you're going to ignore these facts doesn't change them. He's seeing how far he can push it. The boiled frog principle is being done here. At some point, the frog has to hop out of the container or knock it over. Preferably on whoever's been messing with the knob. This government needs to punish its former president because he's gone rogue. He's not a rebel and deserving of some romanticism. He's an asshole who is pushing buttons without any value to it. Lying about stupid shit like, I can predict the weather. Bullshit like that. Just so he can say, I can get away with lying and people will back me up. That's all he's doing. A cult of personality that's infuriating to any reasonable person who wants to solve problems or go forward with, the daily business that he's supposed to keep his eye on during the entire time he was president. He fixated exclusively on his public image and how many people bowed down to him. This isn't a leader. This is a despot. There's no value to this person in my mind. Finding out he did this has lowered my opinion. I didn't believe that could happen even more. Before he started talking, during the presidential election attempt that he was doing to be elected in 2016, most people did not find anything terrible about Donald Trump. You'd have to know him personally or by close association with people who knew him to be able to find out what a horrible person he might have been. And it was all rumor mongering at the time. He removed all doubt progressively and in very slow increments to chip away at anybody who would ignore him or disagree with him and bring in people who would be attracted to this cult of personality and the fact that he could do no wrong and he was a Teflon Don. Now he's wrapped in Teflon that's on fire. It's not sticking to him, it's napalm. What he did is a criminal offense. But what about Obama? Those of you out there who haven't gotten aware of this grift should be now. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck.